was out there in the night sky, stared up at the stars in the hopes of seeing something out of the ordinary? Have you heard unexplainable noises coming from a vacant room, or watched a shadow cross the wall in front of you? Have you asked yourself if there is life after this one, or if you had life before? What about strange creatures that are mythical and elusive? Have you experienced deja vu or felt a prompting to leave because you felt you were in danger? If you have, you were on the fringe.
Welcome to another fun-filled episode of On the Fringe. I'm Mark.
I'm Pam.
And I'm Jess.
Yay! So, this is going to be a fun episode. We have talked about out of place artifacts before. Some of these that we cover, we're going to cover again. But it's just such a fascinating subject. I couldn't leave it alone, and I've been picking around it for a while, so that's what we're doing.
Yay!
And for those of you who don't know what an out-of-place artifact is something that is someplace it shouldn't have been when it was found, where it was found. We're going to talk about the London hammer. It was a hammer found encased in rock, and stuff like the Antikythera mechanism, which really wasn't anywhere it shouldn't have been. We just didn't realize that people had that kind of know-how when it would have been created. And stuff like that. That's the kind of thing we're talking about, out-of-place artifacts. And these things have led to all sorts of startling theories like, aliens left them, or the lizard people, as they call them on the Y-Files, left them. I love that show, by the way. I highly recommend it. I'm going to give them a shout out. The Y-Files, check them out on YouTube.
They are fun.
They are fun. Much better production value than we have, but
yeah, for sure. We don't have the fish. If we had a talking fish, we may be.
Right. We're not really here to educate anybody. We're here to entertain, and that's what we do. And if our entertainment leads you to do your own research, then our job is done.
Absolutely.
So,
lizard people.
And so it says lizard people, fish, orange, white eyes.
Too funny.
So, Jess will be back with us a minute. I think she's having some internet problems, possibly. She did earlier. So, do you have any you want to get started with for us, Pam?
Yeah, hang on. Let me switch screens here real quick, and I'll see what I've got to go with. You want to start with that one? We can totally start with that one.
We can totally start with that one. That one, he pronounced it for us. Audi. How do you pronounce that?
The wedge of Ajude.
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 So, pardon us while we butcher the pronunciation of this object once again.
I looked the pronunciation up, and it's supposed to be AH-JOOD. So it's in Romania. So if you're from Romania, apologies.
Sounds like it should be something that I'm buying at Arby's.
Ajude. Oh, the Ajude. Yeah.
Yeah, the Ajude sauce. So
it's funny. This one's really cool. This one was found in 1974. It was recovered by somebody that was actually digging on a construction project. And when they found it, it was with mastodon bones. So since they knew the bones dated from 11,000 years, they claimed that the wedge was of a similar age. The problem with that is the wedge is made of aluminum, and
Yeah.
aluminum itself wasn't isolated until like 1825. Um, so, that kind of baffled archaeologists as to the alleged extreme age of this particular thing. You've got explanations that range from there was a previous highly technologically advanced society to time travelers who happened to carry around these big wedges in their pockets, maybe, you know, just in case you needed a wedge, why not have one with you? I don't know.
I'd rather have a wedge and not need it than to need one and not have one.
I bet you there's one in my Mary Poppins bag. We need
probably,
one.
Probably is. Now, I have my own pet theory about this. It may be indeed 12,000 years old, but aluminum does exist in nature very, very rarely. You have a lightning strike on a bauxite deposit, which this thing is full of impurities. So I would, hazard to say it wasn't manufactured intentionally.
Mhm.
If you have a large chunk of metal that shows up, the ancient people would have used it. They can shape it. I mean, aluminum
Yeah,
is easy
would
to
be able
shape.
to.
You could file that thing with rocks. Aluminum is soft. It
And
almost looks like a digging implement to me.
that's a great point, though, Mark. Aluminum is soft, and it would not make a very good excavator, tooth on a bucket or whatever, because it's too soft for something like that. It would just be destroyed almost immediately.
Now, granted, it looks like some kind of tool,
Mm-hmm.
or it could have been like an axe or something like that. But that's just my theory off the top of my head, because I mean, aluminum and it could have just been something, people found and then said, "Oh, it's kind of that shape. Let's make it that shape."
Yeah, and that they did try to explain it away, saying it was an excavator bucket that lost a tooth, basically, and that coal mining, it was a viable occupation in Romania. Good grief, I can't talk tonight. In Romania at one time, but it was no longer. And they said, in regards to it being aluminum and that not being the most ideal type of metal to use to dig with, the explanation there was the fact that it was heavy digging equipment near a coal mine, and there's coal dust, and flammable gases, and if you spark, with a heavier metal, you could cause an explosion. So that was their explanation as to why this would have been aluminum. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like I said, there's all kinds of theories. I do not think it was a piece of an alien spacecraft,
I don't either.
Or some of the weirder things that they've come up with. So I really don't know on this one. It doesn't look like anything we'd make modern. And I think if it was made in the 1880s, it would have retained more of its shape. I mean, this one is obviously, it looks machined.
It does.
Like I said, the ancients weren't dumb. If they had a metal that was soft that they could shape, we've seen what they do with gold, what they've done with lead. I don't know what it was for.
Ian said, what if it was a tray panning tool for giants? Maybe so.
Maybe if they needed a big hole in their head, yeah. Flint would have been better, though, because aluminum's just too soft.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what trepanning is, we have evidence that our ancestors 10,000 years ago were performing primitive brain surgery.
They were.
So when you get in the head and you have hit in the head and you have brain swelling, the only way to save a life, and even today, we will drill holes in your head to relieve the pressure. And so we have evidence that people survived this. So, I mean, that's a lot of people would think that that would be out of place, but it's not really. People are very inventive, and even without an education, our ancestors were not dummies. They could figure
No, they
things out.
weren't. They were smart. Just because they didn't do it the way that we do things doesn't mean what they did.
They worked with what they had, and they figured things out.
In
Yeah.
there.
And they may have thought they were performing some sort of magic, letting the demon out of the head or whatever, but whatever it was, they were capable of logic, and they could figure things out.
Oh yeah.
Enzo
I'm sure
said,
they were. I was just gonna say, I'm sure they were smarter than us in some ways,
"Oh, for
In many
sure,
ways.
yeah."
because we've lost touch with kind of some of the basics.
We have. Enzo said if the isotopic ratios in the aluminum were wacky, then I would buy it from another star system. The non-sparking tool sounds reasonable. All the non-sparking tools I've used were made of brass.
Yeah, same. Or you could also use titanium, but I don't see anybody making titanium, even accidentally. 3,000 years ago or 2,500 years ago, when this was supposed to have been in the layer, it was supposed to have been.
You'd think that if they had run onto it accidentally, if they'd accidentally made this new metal, we wouldn't be seeing a lone chunk of it as a tool. We would be seeing it made into idols or jewelry or something a little bit more reverent than just an old tool they were going to leave in the dirt somewhere.
Yeah, I would more think it might be a weapon. Who knows? It would make
Plus,
some
I'm sure
sort of-
that they would have made some more of it, if they'd run onto this new system of making a new kind of metal. You think that it would have lasted long enough that we would have seen more than an object or two of it. We would have seen an entire era of it.
Right. So that's why I said, maybe we had a lightning strike on a bauxite deposit that accidentally created a chunk of aluminum that they shaped from there.
Perhaps.
Because it's difficult. Aluminum is difficult to manufacture. It's not now. We have the technology to make it fairly simple. That's why everything is aluminum now. But back then, the ability to create aluminum manually would have been impossible, I believe. But found aluminum, I could see that. It's an interesting one. I mean, we can speculate all day long. I don't think it's a hoax. It may be misidentified. But
It's one of those two, they don't have they have a provenance for it, but they don't have scientific backup for it. As in they don't have specifics of where it was located, in situ. They don't have pictures of it there.
I'd
all
like
they
to
have
see
is
a
what they
radio
have.
isotope study of it, like
Yeah.
Hugo was talking about. To me, this one's very interesting. I don't have a good, I'm not going to say it's fake. I'm not going to say it's real. Well, it's obviously real. We're looking at a picture of it. As for a time frame, I would have no idea.
Yeah. I don't know.
But it does look like some sort of tool to me, though. But 2,500 years ago, I mean, there were better metals to use for tools than this.
Yeah.
Oh, they dated it at 25,000 years. Sorry. So that would be around the dawn of modern humans. So I got no clue.
What if it's just a fancy shoe scraper somebody had by the front door?
Ian said we have one aluminium for the Europeans in the chat. Yes, there you go. You're welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should we take a shot every time he says aluminium? Oh, I can't even say that.
Aluminium.
Aluminium.
Which is how it's spelled.
It is.
We just
We
mispronounced
just say aluminum.
We just butcher
Silly
it.
foreigners.
I
Silly
know.
foreigners.
Silly Americans.
Oh, I wasn't talking about us.
Ooh, shots fired.
That's right.
We're just rowdy colonists. I celebrate Trader Day every year. Treason Day every year.
Too funny.
So, all right, we got another one.
You want to do one, Jess?
Sure, I can do one. I'll just pull up something I already have out. Let's see here. Do we want to do the London Hammer?
Sure.
Oh, we can do the London Hammer.
All right.
Pictures to go along with that too.
Yeah, so like we could seriously go through these like all night long if we wanted to. I just pulled up stuff that I already had because that right there is enough. There are so many of these out there, and I find it sad. Like if you go and look up each one of them one at a time, it's like we always say, like the first 10 pages of the internet is it's a hoax, but it's the same useless story, just copied and repeated.
Copied and pasted.
Not saying that these are all real or they're all false or, you know.
I'm sure some of them are. I'm sure some of them are
Misidentified.
Misidentified. I'm sure there are just things that we don't know about them. Like this one is an accretion. Accretions don't take that long to make, so that could be just a few hundred years old. It could have been a lost tool, and accretion formed around it. You know, the wood still looks like wood and stuff.
Yeah.
I would say this is not a hoax, but
yeah. This one was found in London, Texas in 1936. It was found by Max Hahn and a friend while walking along the Red Creek near the town of London. They spotted a curious piece of loose rock with a piece of wood embedded in it. Max took it home, and 10 years later, it was broken open by his son on accident to find the hammer head within. The hammer was identified as a small, fine work hammer used for soft metals, which was another thing that didn't quite make sense for the area. The area that it was found in wasn't full of a lot of soft types of rock. So why was it there?
It was near the base of a waterfall, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, and that would make an accretion very likely, because when you get water, you get stuff like that. That could have washed out of a cave someplace after it got calcified and covered up. I don't know if anybody's been in a cave. I've been to caves where stuff from the 1800s has got rock growing on it from the dripping out of the ceiling. So, I mean, I can see that happening. Oh.
That second picture that I just popped up there, Mark, it shows the part that has the clamshell on it. That's where it comes from originally. It's off that portion of the rock. It's not a very good picture, but.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, it would be interesting if we could find a maker's mark or something on it.
Yeah.
It looks like a hand-forged hammer. So, and that brings something. I've been doing a little research. How long do you guys think a fossil takes to create?
Probably depends on the conditions where it's found.
Right. So, according to the interweb, pardon me for mangling that, a fossil can take months to millions of years to form. So, take that as you will. Just depends on the conditions. So, something can be fossilized and it not be that old. We excavate human sites that have human fossils on them all the time.
Yeah.
Sites that we know from history. So, they don't necessarily take millions of years. So, and humans are known to go places where they really should stay the hell out of. Am I not? That's true.
Very true.
So,
well, if they were mining, when they're in a cave at the time and they left, if, like Enzo said, if the handle broke, the user may have heaved it into the river in disgust. And,
Yeah.
that could have absolutely been how it ended up in the mud and congealed inside of that.
And scientists can sometimes not be very scientific. So this is just what we've decided from our experience,
Mm-hmm.
and finding two of them that agree is also difficult. So
That's true.
I mean, could it be millions of years old? That would be really cool.
It would be really cool. Is this one millions of years old? I would probably say no on this one.
No, I look at the wood still looks like wood.
Yeah, the wood still
Yeah.
looks like wood. It
It's not
looks like a
rotted.
modern tool.
It is. But
I
then
don't-
there lies your second question. Is this a newer tool encased in something that's incredibly old for some reason?
Right? That accretion could
That's
have
the
formed
other
out of.
question.
Yeah.
It's like concrete. It's not all the same material. So could it have fallen near a 400 million year old object and gotten accreted with it? Sure. I mean, look what happens in the ocean. All that stuff from 400 years ago, they come up off shipwrecks. It's all accreted together, and they have to remove it very carefully. It does not take that long on a geological timescale. So a lot of these, I think a lot of them are really interesting, but I can come up with an explanation that does not say it's a hoax.
Yeah.
Is it interesting? It absolutely is
Yeah,
interesting.
it's interesting. It's really cool.
It is really cool.
I think the coolest part is the fact that they kept it for 10 or 12 years with just a piece of wood sticking out until somebody's kiddo came along and dropped it.
Yeah.
Then it got really cool.
I would have been cracking it open from the beginning.
Right?
What's this wood lead to? What is it? It's just a piece of, it's like
Yeah, why
a
is there
stick in there? What is it?
Why is there a stick sticking out of a rock? I mean, yeah.
I would have cracked it open probably right there as a kid.
And it looks like shaped wood,
find me something
so
to throw it against.
I would be. What the
That's
hell
probably
is it?
exactly what happened to it.
What's
later
inside?
Ian said if there's wood present, it could be dendrology tested. Yeah.
It might have been at some point.
Dendronology, sorry.
I'm not going to throw it out just because I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to say that it's fake. I think it's absolutely real, and I'm sure that it's at least hundreds of years old. Or
is it an out of place object? Absolutely, because there's no. Why would it be? Oh, you're killing me, Ian. Dendrochronology. Okay.
Dendrochronology. Yep. So, the study of time in trees.
Yep.
So, tree rings.
Dendrite.
Yeah, it's not a very big hammer. It looks like a tack hammer.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So, that is one of my favorites. I mean, and then that's what makes it out of place. We're not expecting to find a hammer in a rock.
Right. Very wild.
So,
Pretty good one, though.
Could it be thousands of years old? I don't think so, but it might. I'm not gonna throw it out with the bathwater. So, all right, we got another one we want to talk about.
Pull up my list here.
I have lists too.
Oh, I have wolf's egg iron, or it's also called the Salzburg cube. Do you guys have that one?
Salzburg
Hit it.
cube.
All right. This one, it's wolf's egg. WOLFSEGG iron, also known as the Salzburg cube. It's an object. It was found in 1885 near Wolf's Egg, am Hausruck, Austria. Sorry for anyone that I might offend with that pronunciation. Origin story states that a foundry worker in a coal mine discovered this. It's somewhat egg-shaped. It's not cube-shaped, which, I mean, when you hear Salzburg cube, you might think that that's the case, but it's more of an egg shape. He found it when he was breaking up a large piece of coal. And this iron lump, it's pitted and it has a deep groove that completely surrounds it. It was later weighed and discovered to weigh almost 800 grams. And let me pop a picture of it up here, Mark, to share. There it is.
So there we
Initially,
go.
it didn't seem that remarkable, but it did seem to be purposefully carved out of a single piece of iron ore. And that wouldn't be unusual on its own, but it was later estimated that the coal that had completely surrounded it was anywhere from 20 to 60 million years old. And, that's where the mystery comes in. How could it have been carved millions of years before the first humans were thought to have walked the earth? Scientists and experts have both been trying to explain this anomaly for like the last 130 years. And you've got, the range. You've got from fraud to extraterrestrials. In 1886, one scientist, he theorized that it was possibly part of a meteorite, but others disagreed with that. So it went through, all these years later, it went through a lot of different scientists that were doing studies on it. There was an in-depth one that was done in 1966 by a Vienna museum using an electron beam microscope, and the analysis did not find nickel, chromium, cobalt, or sulfur, which ruled it out as being part of a meteorite or a piece of pyrite or fool's gold. There's a legend that it vanished in the early 1900s from that museum, only to mysteriously appear years later at the Heimathaus Museum in Austria, where it is currently found. So it disappeared for a while, it was refound, and it's now in a different museum.
Okay, so that's interesting. Coal seams, you would think that scientists would be all on board about dating a coal seam because it's a fossil fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that was coined without really any research originally, the whole fossil fuel thing. And according to my research, it may not take nearly as long to form as we think. We can form oil in a lab from organic materials in just a few years. And there are places on the earth where oil and coal can form in a few hundred or a few thousand years instead of a few million. So that doesn't necessarily it could have been a tool that was lost someplace in a region where at the time these fossil fuels could have been formed. Was it really 220 million years ago? I start looking at these dates and stuff these scientists throw out, and I wonder how right they really are.
Yeah. Well, they did show that it was what it was surrounded in was either between 20 and 60 million year old coal that completely surrounded it. I think the shape of it's interesting. Julie pointed out it does look a little bit like a brain.
It does kind of.
Uh-huh.
Why they would have cut that groove in it, that might be for rope or something to make it into like a mace or something.
Yeah, or part of a pulley system,
Yeah.
To run a rope around. I don't know.
Possibly. I don't know about that one.
I thought it was
weird.
Interesting. Yeah, it is weird. Ian said T-Rex with their weird little arms and hammers and aluminium chisels. There you go. Could it have been a very old form of tool or weapon? Yeah, it could be. I mean,
absolutely.
They could have lashed it to a wooden handle.
Right.
With the rope going through that groove.
Yeah. I don't know about that one. But, I mean, if it is 20 million years old, I'm going to say this right now. I think it is very arrogant of humans to think that another intelligent species may not have existed on the earth. Because if our civilization were to just crumble, if all the humans just disappeared, in a couple thousand years, you wouldn't be able to find evidence of us. It would be very difficult.
It would be.
In a million years, you would have to be very lucky. So
Ken said is a cooled magma. Maybe it could be cooled magma, but it was manually shaped. So I don't know.
it could have been very well been a natural artifact that got reshaped by human or other hands. So
I thought it was a cool one though.
again, I'm going to reserve judgment on that guy. I don't know.
Yeah.
So all right. Let's see. My favorites are the ones that's a little more modern. I like the that coin. What was that called?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I bet.
Yeah, the penny, but it was a Norse Nordic coin. Was found in. Let me find my notes here.
Oh no, this one was found in Illinois. Is that the one you're talking about? Near Peoria?
No, I was looking at the main penny.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, yeah. I know what one you're talking about.
From 1067 to 1093. And again, they threw this out just because we don't accept that Vikings went that far south. Why wouldn't they? We know what they're like. They're going to explore. They're going to look for things and people to conquer and whatnot. Yeah. Maine is not that far south from where we know they were.
Yeah, for sure. And they kicked it out saying, "Oh, somebody just threw an ancient coin out there just to throw people off." What? Why would you do that?
They
were throwing a whole bunch of stuff out and around.
It wasn't just that then.
Yeah, I do want
to. They go everywhere.
We should make note of that. A lot. If you look up like out of place artifacts on the internet, you get these huge lists, and a good portion of them are literally just stuff that is here, but it's just a little bit older than what the scientist thinks it should be, and that we know that they didn't travel here quite that early, so it's an out of place artifact. Somebody put it there as a hoax.
Well, because what that does is that screws up their research grants.
Yep.
Exactly. So I just want everybody to take that with a grain of salt when they're looking up lists of out-of-place artifacts, because a lot of them are not. Our runestone down here in Heavener is considered an out-of-place object.
Absolutely.
It is, yeah.
And we found all sorts of Norse carvings coming up from the Mississippi River into the Arkansas, and if you were going to come up in a Viking longboat, you could navigate all the way up the Mississippi to the northern part of America, because they weren't that big. Those longboats were made to travel on rivers, made to travel on the ocean. They could go anywhere. They're like the Jeep of the ancient world.
Jeep.
Yeah. Jeep. Every culture back then just about had ways to get across the oceans. I mean, we have proof of it here. They found African elephant bones up in the Ohio River Valley.
Yep.
That were brought in long before scientists say that anyone like that ever touched toes here. And it's just absolutely false. And it's, it's like the Smithsonian thing, step on their theories and, change the course of history, and they don't want to hear anything about it.
They don't want to rewrite history.
Yeah.
They want their opinion to be the only opinion. And that's what it is a lot of times. When the things they say are facts sometimes are their opinions.
Well, not only that, if you look at what other reasoning might they have behind that, because if you go back and say, hey, there was someone here before Christopher Columbus, that means that that's not who landed in the New World. So who actually could lay claim to the New World?
It took them forever to acknowledge the fact that the Vikings were in Newfoundland and
there's too much evidence to say that they weren't all over the country.
Newfoundland and Labrador. That is really not that far from Maine, and really they like to sail the coasts, and those long ships, they could very easily have come down around, come right up the river systems to almost anywhere in the country.
Sure.
I don't know.
We're going to talk about them being in Michigan next week.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely, because
And
let
I
me see
found
if
that
I can get a
article.
picture of it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Ian said those fellows from Oak Island made an entire fortune in many TV series from out of place stuff, allegedly. Yeah, right?
Yeah, allegedly. Yeah, the Oak Island thing, and kudos to all you who love that show. I watched it for the first couple seasons before I realized they're literally digging up a port. It's a port island. It's a very easy place to pull into. It many different cultures pulled in and out of that like a dock. And there is all sorts of stuff from all over the world because people were mobile back then. There were boats. It's the easiest type of portable system to build. If you're going to build anything, you can build something that floats. So people were absolutely traveling across the ocean, across waterways, as far back as we can fathom.
Yeah,
And they left stuff behind. They traded with people who were already there. And that's why we're finding all this stuff in all these places it's supposedly not supposed to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
It does. And you guys probably know this from listening to the show. I'm willing to look. This is how big of a longship was. I got bigger stuff that comes up my river all the time, and I don't have a very big river near here. You know, they can go almost anywhere in those.
Yep.
Yes, they can cross the oceans, but they're even better on a river.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't they have come down the coast of the United States, gone up the rivers, and when they hit the Mississippi, they probably thought they hit the mother lode. But look at that. It's a highway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they went right off the Mississippi, into the Arkansas, which brought them up through Oklahoma and through the edge of Kansas, clear on up. So they were able to really travel pretty easily. And, they went from their big ships to their smaller, as the waterways got smaller, they would just go to a smaller boat until they were walking, and then they could just travel across the land at that point.
And they built them on site. They didn't, they could go anywhere and build a ship in a couple days.
That's the good thing about the riverways too. Not only is it a highway, you've got the timber, trees grow along the rivers. So you've got
plenty of game. There. They had no problems with food, water, anything they needed was right there handy. There is all sorts of evidence that the Norse were all over the place.
Yeah.
And everybody who poo-poos on that, I just shake my head because there's so much evidence, and we know what kind of people they were. Yeah. They liked to look around. They were looking for trade. They were looking to loot. Whatever opportunities presented themselves, they were prepared.
They were explorers first and foremost. They were out there to see what they could see and to and trailblaze, basically.
And when you get the legends of the red-haired giants, I mean, they were, most of them topped out around 6 foot tall. I mean, a lot of them did, not all of them. Most of them were 4 or 5 feet tall, just like everybody else.
Except for Enzo's girlfriend, the redhead out in the mine or in the cave. She
was a looker too. Very tall.
Ken said for safety, they probably followed all the coasts to get to North America to avoid crossing the open ocean. They could have. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to tell you a little something. I mean, if we sell an airplane in Europe, do we take it apart, put it on a ship, and take it over? No, we pay a company to fly it to Newfoundland, across from Newfoundland to Greenland, and from Greenland to Iceland, and from Iceland to Northern Europe, and then to wherever it's going. Mm-hmm. And we do it today. They did it then. They didn't sail straight across from Norway to here.
Mhm.
They went from Norway to Iceland to Greenland to Newfoundland.
You know, and if they're just looking basically to see what they could see kind of thing, you know, they're going to hit all the areas they can. That,
Yeah.
Yeah. Ken said that makes sense, and it's what I'm saying. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Ken. Absolutely 100%. We'd do it today.
Mhm.
If we do it today, our ancestors were smart enough to do it then.
For sure.
All right, I'm off my soapbox. And that's the thing we get into when we start looking at all these out of place artifacts. A lot of these are out of place, not because we've got a thing that looks like it could have been an airplane. A lot of these are out of place because the powers that be have decided these people never traveled.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we've got mummies that were found in Egypt that's 3,000, 4,000 years old that have cocaine in their system, which comes from South America.
Mm-hmm.
That
There's
implies
sunflowers, you know, that were found across the ocean that originated from the States. So,
yeah,
Mhm.
it's not.
Yeah.
and copper. We talked about Michigan copper being found all over Europe.
That's absolutely. Who mined that? Well,
Mhm.
either Indians or Norse or whoever.
Somebody did.
Somebody did.
They found American Indian maize in
Yes.
Egypt.
Yes. I ran across that when I was looking through for my out of place.
Yeah. Oh, but
Objects,
they
yeah.
didn't travel. They have no way to travel across the ocean.
No.
Yeah, they
Whatever.
did.
Whatever.
Our ancestors were, one, way braver than we are. Two, way more ingenious and creative than we give them credit for. And three, they were tough as heck.
Ian said the original island hoppers all aboard the party boat, right?
Well, I mean, if you think about it back in that time, I mean, a lot of people were mobile. You had to be mobile because if you stayed in one place for too long, you're out of supplies. You're out of fresh meat. Unless you're like a farming community, you still need meat and stuff. And the human race as a whole, which just always has that, kind of pioneering spirit. Let's keep going and find out what's on the other side of that hill. And people are going to be mobile. And the thought that these little cultures were just going to stay in one little huddle for the entire time and then probably perish because, some natural disaster came and took them out is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. They moved and they traded. They interbred. That's why they're finding that with like our DNA now that they're starting to.
Now that they start going through the DNA. And what kills me is they'll come up with this DNA and all the geneticists says, well, this is in the DNA. And then the paleontologists or whoever, they're going, oh, no, that's not what we decided.
Yeah.
They can't agree. If they would ever get together on a subject and actually study it as a group instead of worrying about their little government grants and whatnot, we could progress so much faster.
Well, look, I mean, for example, take the three camps in paranormal world. You have always historically had the Bigfoot camp, the UFO camp, and the ghost hunters camp. And it's just been recently that they've started to come together and share information. And we're finding out how many things are actually
the same
correlated.
Damn thing.
Yes, they just called it by something else because they came from a different perspective.
Yeah. Nobody likes to admit, as a human, I'm the same way. I don't like to admit I'm wrong.
Yeah, well, until people
I'm
start,
wrong all the time.
yeah, until they get over their egos and start, collaborating more.
Well, I really think a lot of it comes down to those government grants.
Could be.
Or school grants. Or
Usually, if you follow the money, you'll find a lot.
Unfortunately, that's true whether you're talking about science, whether you're talking about government, whether you're talking about well, whatever you're talking about, if you follow the money, you find the motivations.
Yep. Well, that's true for any field. Look at
Yeah.
the ghost hunters and Bigfoot hunters and UFO hunters on TV.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Follow the money.
We've discussed
And
that. So many of them start out, with good intentions, and they make
Good intentions.
a great first season, and then that second season rolls around, and you've got to have product, and you've got to have, outcomes, and you've got to make a story with a beginning, a middle, and an end.
producers get a hold of it, and they get a hold of your contract, and they say, well, you've signed a contract. You've got to do this.
Or here's some more money. We just need you to do this.
Yes.
That lifestyle you picked up in the first season is still looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying that some of them, a lot of these guys are totally honest. A lot of these guys, some of them I know in particular, changed channels and stuff because they were being forced into doing stuff that they didn't want to do.
And
like
some of them tried to force others out because they were greedy.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Or they were forced out because they weren't being greedy.
Right. Or they were forced out because they didn't want to bend their beliefs.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Ken said grants
it happens
going
everywhere.
away, so maybe cooperation may be forthcoming at least for a bit. Maybe. Yeah. So you're right. They have to have a good script. You're right.
Yeah. It's unfortunately that's just how things work.
Yeah. Reality TV is not real. We know that. Sure.
The only place you're going to find people trying to be honest are people who tell you they don't know what the hell's going on.
Mm-hmm. And if somebody does tell you they know what the hell's going on, I'm not sure I would listen to them because they don't know.
Well, either they're deluding themselves or trying to delude you.
Or they're theorizing, which is fine to theorize, but don't make it the absolute, end all be all.
Speculation is what makes the world go round. We don't make progress without speculation and innovation. That's why I love about this show.
Rabbit hole there, didn't we?
We did, but it
did. It's our soapbox, though. Well, it's what we're all about. I mean, our tagline for our Paracon is "It's all connected." If everybody works together and you keep your mind open and you realize that you're not going to know everything and be open to some new suggestions and new ideas and intermingle that with what you already know or you think you know, fantastic stuff comes out of it. I mean, I really feel that's why our team has progressed like it has. We started off as we only ghost hunt, we don't do anything else, haha on the Bigfoot hunters, haha on the UFO hunters, and we just slowly started progressing into these other fields and pulling in different parts of it and mixing it in with what we were doing, and we realized, if we think of it from this Bigfoot direction, then this absolutely makes sense. And if we look at it from like this Fae direction, that solves that problem. And if we bring UFO into it, that could absolutely be why that happened. And when you start allowing all that to work and you can realize that you're probably wrong on this and allow somebody else's, to come in and say, well, what about this? And you're like, that fixes that problem. It's fantastic. If the scientific community all the way around would be so willing to have an open mind and allow new ideas and new thoughts and new data to come in and shift everything just a little bit, I think it would be so much further along than what we are.
It's just how
it makes me wonder. There's got to be like underground scientists somewhere that are actually doing the real studies.
There actually are.
Yeah. But you also need to consider too. I mean, we know this, but for the audience, there's a lot of scientists that don't want to go there because it puts a black mark on their name. They're laughed at by
the
made
fun of
community. Yeah. Or they lose grants. They lose, their tenure. They lose things that they don't want to lose.
Right. All I'm saying is we got.
Luckily, we don't get paid for nothing. So
yeah, we don't get paid for crap. We actually pay to make this show. Yes. So that you guys don't have to. Now, if you wanted to pay me to make this show, I would absolutely take your money.
Absolutely. Throw some money our way.
How funny.
That's what I mean. You hear us going through these out of place art. We don't know, and we're willing to discuss all sides of the story.
For sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And just so many people aren't, and it's sad. So, all right, let's do another one.
Okay.
We talk about Antikythera a lot.
Oh yeah, pull it up.
So-
That's a good one. That one's pretty fascinating, I think, just because of the
Yeah.
fact that it is an obvious mechanical equipment.
Something.
It's like a computer, basically.
Well, yeah, they have studied it with X-rays, and they've got the theory that it is a device to calculate the positions of celestial bodies up to years in advance. So that's really cool. And we know our ancestors were much better at predicting a lot of this stuff than you or I would be.
Mm-hmm.
They understood math very well. This is what it looked like. It was found on a shipwreck, and people have speculated about what it was for years. Now they all agree that it was some sort of calculation device, or some people have said it was for navigation. Some people said it was for astrological, what have you, the position of the planets or whatever. Whatever they were calculating, they were very clever.
They were. And there's I think you're on that page. That looks like the same photo, maybe. Are you on Life Science? Is that where you pulled that from?
I don't know. No, I think I'm actually got this one off Wikipedia. So
Let me share this because it shows they did a X-ray of it and basically cleaned it up just to see what it would look like without all of the
all right,
on it.
I'll let you put that up there, and
There it is.
there you go. So,
And they only found a third of it.
yeah, that's not the whole thing.
Mm-mm.
Again, the only reason that this is out of place is because we did not believe our ancestors were as clever as we are.
Mm-hmm.
So it's brass. Brass is even today fairly valuable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a precious metal, but it is a valuable metal, and it is very often recycled. So I would not expect many, if any, of these, and this could have been a unique device. Some brilliant inventor possibly invented that, and then it was lost. But if there were other examples of this, I'm sure they just got recycled. It
And
broke.
it could be, yeah, could be.
Brass is fairly easy to melt down and reshape.
Mhm.
And our ancestors wasted a lot less than we did.
Ken said it kind of looks like a portable mini fan for hot days. Kind of does when you look at it that way.
It does.
It's pretty cool though. You see all those gears on there. Each one of them was set for the movement of a different planet. It's pretty cool.
Right? So
Heavenly body.
the Romans had machines that were designed to measure miles accurately. So as they would go along, they'd push it like a cart, and as it rolled, every time it hit a mile, it would drop a marble or a bead, and so that's where they put the mile marker. So we had drawings of how that would work. Nobody could make it work right. Oh, how did they measure so accurate? We can't make this. Until somebody said, well, we use square gears. Somebody finally figured out that they use triangular gears and trigonometry to figure out their gear ratios.
That's cool.
And once they did that, that design worked. They've made a reproduction of it. It works like clockwork.
That's cool.
So our ancestors were not dummy. They understood math. Our ancestors created complex math. I mean,
They did. Absolutely.
we didn't invent it. We've built on it, yes, but
Oh,
oops,
lost Jess.
I hit the
There she
wrong
is.
deal.
Oh, you did it. Oh, I thought she
I was like, I'm still here.
flipped out.
Yeah.
You kind of kicked me off the show, Mark.
No, I'm just.
I'm sitting here doing
blind
my research, and you're just kicking me off.
and she's gonna smack me with a notebook, and I'm in
Got the
trouble.
look, man.
Yeah. So we call her notebooks for a reason, folks. She has a pile of them.
Weaponized notebooks.
Weaponized notebooks. I mean, she could drop them on me like an anvil from Wile E. Coyote, and I'd be flat.
That's funny.
That's right. No amount of earthquake pills is going to help you, sir.
Ken was talking about the brass wristwatch.
There you go.
And that brings up another thing. You know, they found that Swiss timepiece in a Chinese tomb.
They did. Yeah.
So, did that go there by time travel, or did somebody visit it and lose it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm not going to discount time travel either. You know, we have.
No, we don't know. We don't know enough to know. We don't know what we don't know, pretty much.
I mean, we have anecdotal evidence of accidental time travel, you know, time slips and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Who's to say that that doesn't happen more often than we think? I mean, I believe it's possible. Oh, this one's a fun one.
This one is a fun one. This is a Dorchester vase. This one was found in 1852. There was a construction worker in Dorchester, Mass, in the United States. They were using explosives to break up rock on a hill. It was called Meeting House Hill. And after the detonation, there was like these two pieces of an ancient metal vase-like object were recovered from the debris, and this is what it was. It's a bell-shaped vessel, and it is about 4.5 inches high and about 6.5 inches wide at the base. And the top of it's only about 2.5 inches in diameter. The metal itself is only like 1/8 of an inch thick, so it's pretty thin, really. And the composition seems to be silver and possibly zinc. But this ran in the Boston Transcript. It was a local paper at the time in 1852. And then it was later ran in the Scientific American in 1852 again, same year. And it was inferred from the locations that it had been blasted from solid pudding stone, which made up the Roxbury conglomerate, which is approximately 15 feet under the surface of Meeting House Hill. So that area of stone, the Roxbury conglomerate, where it was found, is dated by Ediacaran, Ediacaran period, between 570 and 593 million years old. So, yeah. Obviously, is it that old? Who knows? But it's a neat one. It's got some really cool floral designs going on all the way around it. But, you know, who knows?
I've seen people say that it was a Victorian vase.
Yeah, maybe.
Or not a vase, a candle holder.
Candle holder. That's what it looks like a little bit.
Kind of looks like a candle holder a little bit. It could have been. It could have been on top of the rock they were blasting.
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of things, but I've also seen people say that the plants represented on are extinct.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
That doesn't mean anything. Roman coins have an extinct plant on them sometimes.
Yeah.
Which was it was actually more valuable than gold because it was so useful as I can't remember the name of the plant, that the Romans idolized so much, but it was used as a contraceptive, and it was so so effective that they picked it to extinction.
Wow. That's funny.
So, I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to be that old to be an extinct plant, I guess.
Ian said if you bump into Jess on the street, she drops notebooks like Sonic the Hedgehog drops coins. Boom.
That's right.
She does. Or she might whack you with her bag full of notebooks, and then you're in trouble.
That could happen too.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm strong enough to swing that sucker. It's pretty heavy.
Funny.
I saw you lifting it yesterday, like doing curls with it.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Lifting the heavy stuff. Let me tell you.
So, and there's so many of these out of place articles, and some of them you wonder why they even made a fuss about. Like, you found an ancient coin someplace you didn't expect it to be. That does not mean it's out of place. It just means that somebody visited that you weren't aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they dropped their coins.
All right, I'm going to do the mirror cubes out of Oklahoma.
Oh,
I'm going to
cool.
do that one.
Nice.
Yeah. So the mirror cubes, these were found deep, like miles down in a coal mine in Oklahoma in 1928. It's one of my favorite ones. It's so interesting. And you can find all the information on it. Like, you can find the old newspaper write-ups on it. You can see where it was hushed very, very quickly. And all the men who were involved with this have copped to it. Yeah, we were a part of that. Yeah, we got moved away. But I'll just read it to you. It's so interesting. So, a gentleman by the name of Atlas Mathis was working in a deep coal mine shaft when he discovered strange concrete blocks lying on the floor. They were 12-inch cubes that were so smooth and polished on the outside that all 6 sides could serve as mirrors. He chipped one open to find it was full of gravel or some type of a concrete. He started to shore up the room with timber, but a cave-in began, and he made it out just barely. When he came back, he found a solid wall of these polished blocks. Another wall, made of the exact same blocks, was also found the same day down a different shaft on the same site. Mathis said officers of the mining company pulled all the men from the mine and told them they were not allowed to tell a soul. They moved all of them to a new mine 2 towns over into Wilburton, Oklahoma. The age of the coal mine was around 286 million years old. Well, not the mine itself, but the coal. The coal line that they were in was 286 million years old. So to this date, of course, the scientists went after it like, oh, it must have been like a fault line of, something from a volcano, whatever. Nothing like that's ever been proven. And the majority of the men that were pulled from the 2 sites all gave testimony to newspapers and stuff on what they had seen firsthand. And they said it was like looking in a mirror. It was so highly polished. They said it was absolutely man-made, whatever these things were. A wall built like you would build a concrete wall, stacked in and out. Like a concrete wall would be.
That's cool.
That's cool. That is cool.
It's one of my favorite ones, because what do you say about that?
Yeah.
Right. And, I mean, you can polish concrete fairly easily. It would not have to be a very advanced civilization to create concrete. The ancient Egyptians had concrete. It's not that hard to make. And you can polish just about anything. I saw him polish a turd on Mythbusters.
I saw that one too.
Yeah.
The question remains, though, okay, even if we go back to some kind of an ancient civilization thing, not that long ago, this area of Oklahoma, Kansas was completely underneath the ocean.
Yes.
And to top it off, they were miles down underground in these coal shafts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to go down even further. So what, you're naturally going to want to lean towards something natural. It must be something natural that we have no idea about. But it's hard to negate something that all of these things are perfectly shaped the exact same way, highly polished, but when you break them open, it looks like crumbling concrete.
Yeah, that's the weird part is the interior.
Right. So it makes me wonder if it was on a fault line.
I don't know.
Would they be digging coal on a fault line? Because if it was a fault line, I could. I don't know. You'd have to.
Probably not for long.
Yeah, that would probably be a bad idea. So yeah, that's probably.
I mean,
not.
they wouldn't know it was a fault line.
I can't think of a good reason.
Something happened.
I can't poo-poo that one. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't think of an alternate. I'm sure if I thought about it harder, I could, but I can't think of an alternate reason for that to be down there
Yeah, it's
that
pretty
far.
wild.
Some of these others, like I said, I don't think they're hoaxes. I think they're missing some part of the story. That one, I don't know.
And why were they all scurried out of both shafts so quickly? And they also said it was corporate. It wasn't just, like the manager of the crew that, calls the whistle when it's time for them to go to lunch. It was the actual company. The suits came in and removed them.
I can tell you why, and I can tell you why anything we find like that's real is going to get disappeared in a hurry or poo-pooed in a hurry is because they don't want to shut down the mine.
Yeah.
They don't want to lose money. Again,
that would shut everything down if they found.
Well, they did shut them down. They shut down both the mines and moved all the men away.
Yeah.
So, I just always, it's one of my favorites because holy cow, so interesting from every aspect.
And when you look at it, the fact that they actually shut the entire mine operation down at that place, yeah, that's huge. That's wild.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I've seen some weird stuff like the screws and the rocks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a really good one.
Go for it.
Let me pop up I got a couple of pictures here. I'll add them that we can talk about. This is called the Nampa doll, Nampa, and it's from Nampa, Idaho.
I don't have a good one for that either.
Here's the other one. So let me get my notes up here. So this one, it was found in August. It was August 1st of 1889. There was a professional well driller. His name was M.A. Kurtz, and he was working near his home in Nampa, Idaho, he had a couple of crewmen with him, and they were using a steam pump, and it was pumping everything out of the ground to try to get this well dug, and it suddenly spat out this piece of brownish clay. It was about 1.5 inches long, and it was clearly humanoid in appearance. And this discovery, it was also eyewitnessed by several prominent citizens of the town. And what amazed these guys the most was this little clay doll. It had come from below a total of 320 feet, and you could see the layers there in that picture. There was a 15-foot layer of lava rock, 100 feet of sand, 6 inches of clay, 40 feet of more sand, and then 165 feet composed of clay, sand, clay nodules mixed with sand, and coarse sand layers. So that totaled 320 feet. The doll itself, it's composed of half clay and half quartz. And according to at least one expert, which is Professor Albert A. Wright of Oberlin College, it was not the product of a small child or amateur. This is an actual piece of art made by a true artist. It's been roughed up by time, obviously, but the appearance is still distinct. It has the head. It's got you can't really see it there, but it's got a barely discernible mouth and eyes. It's got the broad shoulders, the short, thick arms. It's got long legs. Its right leg is broken off. And if we were able to look at it closer, we would be able to see these faint geometric markings on the figure itself that probably represents either clothing patterns or jewelry or something. And the markings are found mostly on the chest, around the neck, and on the arms and the wrists. And so how old is this object? Well, we've got the lava rock layer. The drill penetrated through that. That's part of the prehistoric lava flows of the Columbia Plateau. That was before the advance of the last ice age. And then below this layer, this image was found another 300 feet down. So the best modern geologic estimate puts the date for the layer in which this doll was found at over 300,000 years. And this Nampa doll is actually on exhibit at the Idaho State Historical Society in Boise. I think it's pretty cool. They did try to establish, they sought to verify the depth at which it was found, and that would help them establish its antiquity. And they did an on-location examination of Kurtz's equipment at the hole that was drilled, and they interviewed all of the witnesses. So they really worked to prove this or disprove this story. Dr. Wright did become convinced that the find was genuine. Kurtz demonstrated the well had been tubed with heavy iron tubing, 6 inches in diameter, so there wasn't any mistake about the occurrence of the artifact at that stated depth. And the pump only worked in one direction, so had it fallen in from above, it would have been destroyed by the pump. It wouldn't have just shot it back up, So Dr. Wright concluded in a report that went to the Boston Society that there is no ground to question the fact that this image came up in the sand pump from the depth that it was reported. So there was a Bostonian professor, his name was F.W. Putnam, and he did a thorough microscopic analysis that the quartz grains under the doll's right arm had been cemented by iron molecules. And this too, independent of the fact of the depth of the discovery, is indicative of great age of the piece. So how old is it? Probably they are in agreement that it did come from this hole. It did come from where they said it did. So it would be over 300,000 years old, which that's wild that they are actually saying, this is why it's my favorite. They're actually saying this one is over 300,000 years old.
So I am buying that 100%. Mm-hmm. So, but what most people don't realize is humans, the first Homo sapiens were coming into being about that time. There were several older species that were considered savages. We don't know that Neanderthals didn't have art, couldn't create art. I'm sure that they wanted to make dolls to their gods and goddesses or for their children.
Yeah, exactly.
So that just shows to me that our ancient ancestors were just as artistic as we were.
Agreed. Absolutely.
That's all that tells me.
Yeah.
And it's cool as hell.
It is so cool. You know what gets me, though? If you think about the fact that they found this doll, this came out of the ground at this great depth from only a hole that was 6 inches in diameter. Okay. Out of all the top layer of the earth all around the world, they found something that deep. What else is down in there?
Oh,
all
yeah.
over the
I wonder
place.
if it's like there's a whole stash of stuff down there.
Yeah,
that could be.
Right?
So here's the deal. If there's 8 billion people on the planet right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So compare that. We've only been on the earth for about 350,000 years, a little bit longer if you start talking about Neanderthals and stuff like that. So maybe 400,000, let's just be generous and say 500,000 years. So humans haven't existed all that long.
Mm-hmm.
How many of the big dinosaurs have we found? Most of them, we've only found a half dozen individuals. Okay. Yeah. So there were trillions of those over hundreds of millions of years ago, and we found a handful.
Yeah.
We've only found pieces of our ancestors that are 300,000 years old, and not very many of those. There's not going to be that big of if our civilization ended tomorrow, in 300,000 years, there would be almost no evidence. Mm-hmm. Maybe stuff like this. So,
just random things, yeah.
Just random things, and then they're going to be called out-of-place artifacts. People aren't going to understand most of human history, we've only been keeping records that we have records of for a few thousand years. Not even 1% of our time on this earth. It's just the height of arrogance to think that we were the only ones to enjoy art, to think, to do
Or to have the
mathematics.
ability to create art,
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's crazy.
That's
been disproven, obviously. I mean, look at some of the cave drawings that have been found all over the world. There's some amazing I can't think of the name of the cave system in France. There's some absolutely incredible drawings in that cave. Ken said Mount Everest was once underwater, so why can't other civilizations and communities be found miles underground and some may still be active, like a land that time forgot? Yeah, could be.
Yeah. We don't know that they're not.
Mm-mm. We know that there are places on the earth where there's openings into the earth that have their own ecosystem, basically. They have trees and they have clouds that form and, things, rain that comes down. We know that.
Yeah. Do I think the Earth's hollow? No.
No, I don't either.
I mean,
but I think there's pockets here and there that are like that.
Look at the cave systems in the United States that go hundreds of miles.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mammoth Cave, I mean, it stretches clear into the Ozarks from Kentucky and
right. So I mean, humans don't know everything. We want to think we do. We're the height of civilization. Are we?
Yeah.
Are we? I'm willing to have an open mind and say maybe not. There is plenty of time for multiple civilizations to have flourished and been destroyed, and the ice ages just ground all the evidence up into powder. Because that's what glaciers do. So I'm not going to be so arrogant as to say our ancestors didn't create that 300,000 years ago, and it just by some miracle was found by a drill bit.
Yeah.
That's my take on it. I think it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, that's my favorite one, though, that I ran across. Thought it was pretty cool.
Could it be aliens? It could also be that, but I don't really think so.
Well, we haven't even touched on time travel or multiverse theory.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
That could have caused these objects to pop up in past years where they didn't exist. So that's a whole other...
So like the Nokia cell phone?
Yes, yeah.
Stuff like that.
Let me see if I can find that one. There was a clay representation that looks just like a freaking Nokia cell phone.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where they found that. Got a good picture of it here. I don't have an article about it. But let's go ahead and share that. I know you guys have seen this. It's freaking awesome. So it looks like a Nokia phone. It's got cuneiform on it.
Yep.
All over. I owned that phone. I owned a phone very much like that. So
yeah, and they have an entire theory of time travel that deals with out of place artifacts. It's called a causal loop, where stuff gets put back in time and actually causes its own invention.
Yeah.
And it's invented, and then someone takes it back in time, and that's why it's invented. And then you have a loop. I have a closed loop that occurs.
Well, and we've talked about time slips and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not going to say it can't happen.
Yeah. And then there's the multiverse theory, where we all live in multiple parallel lines, and they can all weave and touch accidentally, and that's how you get your thin spots. And not every line is on the exact same time path as you. So maybe the line next to us is 200 years back, or 200 years forward, or 1 day back, or 1 day forward, and you accidentally touch, and maybe an object gets left on that other side. So maybe that, like a Nokia phone accidentally slipped through.
Or
So
they had
another
a time
theory.
slip and saw one and created a clay representation of what they saw.
Yeah.
Or they had a time slip and took it back with them.
There's
Put it in
there's
their pocket?
supposedly there's a German artist. His name's Karl Weingartner, and he claims that he created this so-called out-of-place Nokia cell
That-
phone.
that
He's
could-
claiming it.
That could
But
be. I mean,
It could
I'm
be. They were calling it the Babylonokia. Babylon Nokia.
Speaking
yeah.
of that, so like the multiverse theory, that could explain some of these like really strange where something is in a time period so far away from where it should be. Like hold on. I have one. Did you guys have anything on the Savitharium of Kish?
I didn't. I've heard of it, but I didn't.
I've seen
Yeah.
it, but I'm not sure if I've got a picture of it.
It's one of my favorites, just because you can't really say, well, maybe it traveled over from somewhere it wasn't supposed to be. Somebody had it, it was older, and then they dropped it somewhere. This can't be. So the Savitharium of Kish was found in 1928. So Kish is a town which is now what is now Iraq, basically. They were excavating in the 20s. They were finding all this fantastic stuff, all this original art pieces, and they found these, I think it was like 3 or 4 hand-carved wooden and metal chariots, just beautifully designed. But on top of one of the chariots was something so weird, they couldn't explain it. On top of it was a figure of a quadrupedal, what was it called? I can't remember what it's called. Oh, so, okay, it's a Civitharium. It's a relative of the giraffe that lived in North America and India and Africa during the Pleistocene, but went extinct early in the Holocene extinction event, which was about 1 million years ago, right? Long before the chariot was ever made. The chariot was made in the Hellenistic period during they estimate about 323 BC. And it's an exact replica of that ancient cousin to the giraffe. How would they have even known what it looked like?
Yeah, that's cool.
I have a theory about that. How do we know what they look like? We found a skeleton.
We found skeletons and stuff. So, but it's just amazing to me. I mean, there's nothing like that in that area. Going back as far as we know, animal-wise, there's nothing that looks like that animal. So
where did
how would
get
they have known?
the idea of that animal?
Yeah,
that's cool.
and it's truly detailed too. If you go and take a look at it, if you all are interested at home, go take a look at it. There's loads of pictures of it because it's just so extraordinary. Whatever artist worked on this just did a fantastic job in detail work. And it's beautiful, but so out of place, especially if you put it up against the other chariots that they found it with. It sticks out like a sore thumb. You pull it out and you're like, what the heck? How did that get there?
That's wild.
So, yeah. That is something that theory would really lend well to,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would.
Somebody slipped through and was like, oh, I should remember what this thing looked like, and then they carved it.
That could be where they found cave paintings and went from there.
Yeah.
Also, how do we decide what these things look like? We draw pictures what we think they look like from skeletons, and as we know, some of our ancestors were just as good or better artists than we
Yes.
were.
We just went and saw Rex Buchanan speak on petroglyphs in the Smoky Hills. I mean, maybe they saw it as a petroglyph somewhere, and that petroglyph doesn't exist anymore because it eroded away. Maybe
Yeah,
they based it off
and
that. Who knows?
they knew what giraffes look like, so they were able to.
Well,
Yes,
it looks nothing like a giraffe, I will tell you.
Yeah, they're different.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
minus the really long neck.
Yeah.
It's a strange looking thing. Just everybody at home, just go take a look at it
We'll
because
have to
it's
take a look at
weird.
it. I haven't seen it, so
Say what it is again, Justin. I'll pull it up.
It's the Civatherium, so it's spelled SIVATHE
Got it.
R. Okay, she's got it.
Oh yeah, that doesn't look anything like a giraffe.
No.
share it up here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm willing to play devil's advocate. I'm willing to go both ways. I truly believe that time slips happen, so that
Yeah.
I would not rule that out.
It's just a very strange thing. So, but like you were saying, like maybe they saw it on a cave wall, maybe they saw, but even if they saw like a drawing of this on a cave wall, what would possess them to think that this one thing was so fantastic and so important to their society that they had to have a carved effigy made of it and then stored with precious artifacts and art pieces and jewels, and why? It's just so strange to me. It's just, that's why I like it so much. It's just, it makes you think.
Now, we think they disappeared a million years ago, but, we discussed we've had ancestors that have existed for at least half that long. What if they were copying a copy of something that they happen to find and it's been lost since?
Maybe. Yeah.
Who knows? It's really interesting, though.
I don't know.
It is. It's a good one.
And it could very well have been a time slip. I truly believe it happens. We had a pterodactyl sighting near here not too long ago. Was that an actual animal or was it a time slip? We had the lions in Oklahoma that just disappeared. American lions have been extinct for what, 12,000 years, 15,000? Yeah. That could have been a time slip.
Mm-hmm.
Easily. I actually do think that one was a time slip. So yeah, I mean that. I feel that is a valid speculation.
These are really wild. I mean, I see a little bit of the giraffe in them, but
in the face.
Had I not known that they were, related to a giraffe, I mean,
the shoulders, and the haunches, yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
they were big though. Look at them compared to the size of a man.
Yeah,
down below.
That would have made a hell of a mount. I want to find genetic material from one and clone it and put a saddle on it.
Oh, we can see Mark.
Yeehaw!
Get you a ladder so you can get up there.
Oh, I need a crane. For those of you who don't see me, I am a 340-pound man with bad knees. I am not getting on a horse, let alone this monster.
We'd have to get
you.
Makes me think of Nana and her step stool. I have to get to launch her into the.
We'll get you a portable escalator.
Yeah,
how's
Taylor
that?
Crane and rigging would have to come down here and put me in a sling and put me on that bad boy.
That's awesome. That's a good one, though. I like that one.
I like that one. Yeah, that's good. All right. We are running right up on an hour and a half. Do you guys want to do another one of these and continue with these? Because I know we haven't touched all of our
can.
notes.
I've got more.
I say we go for it. And I love talking about these out of place artifacts. I love talking about how history may not be as chiseled in stone as our academics would like us to believe. We've talked about all this before, but it's just so much fun to speculate.
It is.
And like I said, I am willing to entertain all sides of it. I'm also willing to go down roads that even the scientists and the true believers in weirdness aren't. I mean, I have a lot of belief in our ancestors. They were just as smart as us,
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
and their ancestors were probably nearly as smart as us. Cro-Magnon, Denisovians, all those back there, those are in our DNA.
Mhm.
So we're human or human-like people 300, 500,000 years ago having civilizations and doing civilized stuff. Why the hell not? Why not, indeed? So, anyway, with
Oh,
that being,
before we go, I do want to
yes,
show everybody something that I actually pulled up and showed in the writers group earlier. So we traveled to Ark City, Kansas yesterday.
we did.
Um, to now, make sure I can find it here. Here it is. We traveled to Ark City yesterday for a meeting, and while we were there, we were like, there's a waterfall in the area, and we wanted to go see it. And Jess was gracious enough to take a picture of this because, hang on, I'll talk about it for a minute while I find it.
All righty, we will do that.
Here it is.
Yeah.
I found it. There it is.
Scotty
So-
and I scampered down onto the rocks to get pictures for everybody. It was actually the first time I've actually seen a waterfall like live, not like a picture of it or.
Why is it telling me it's not going to? There's an issue
Oh.
with your file. Please try again. Okay.
Oh man.
Now let me open it another window, and then I'll see if I can do it that way. Sorry, I get everybody excited, and then I'm
Yeah.
like, sorry, can't show that.
We were having a meeting for the Paracon, which is coming up at the end of September, September 27th on Saturday. If you're in the Caney, Kansas area, stop in at the Caney Rec Center just off of Highway 75 and join the Paracon. It's completely free for ages 12 and up. We're going to have presenters and panels all day long, and vendors and tarot readers and concessions and all sorts of stuff. A medium will be there. There it is.
Our friend Christy
That's pretty cool.
Campbell, she is a psychic medium, and she's going to do a free room reading, and then she'll be available for paid readings after that for the rest of the day. So
Yep.
it's going to be
And a
fun.
room reader. We've got a food truck coming in. Coyote Tacos is going to come in for the lunch hour, so everybody can grab food, and we'll have concessions there. And in the morning, we're going to have a pop-up donut shop come in with coffee, so you can have coffee and a donut while you're watching the first panels. It'll be super fun. And if you're not in the area, you can watch live on the Bordertown Strange page, or on, what else are we going to be on? Facebook Live?
Yeah, we'll be on Facebook Live too. But
Yep.
and if you miss it at the time, it'll be archived on our
Bordertown Paracon, right there.
Yeah. It's going to be a good time. Our friend Brian Terrell, he will be there. He's a Bigfoot researcher out of Oklahoma. You might be familiar with him. We've had him on the shows before. He's actually going to run a workshop on professional ways to research Bigfoot. So it'll be really good.
Yep.
We got to
And if
meet
you
him there yesterday too, so we got to hang out with him for a while.
Yeah, it was like a last meeting. And if you come into the area and maybe you're not all about all the panels or all the presentations, or maybe you have a wife or a husband who's not quite as interested, they can just head over a few blocks over and join the huge car show and fall festival that's happening in downtown Caney the same day.
Yep.
And stay late for the races that night. Caney has one of the largest dirt tracks in the area, and they're running specials that night. So it's like a whole
Absolutely.
weekend
There
of
is going to
fun.
be something for everyone that weekend.
There's ball games going on that day too.
Yeah,
There
there's
is.
football games,
Baseball, I think. Is it
baseball. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
So-
football. It's Little League football.
Oh, is it football? Oh, I was thinking it was baseball.
Yeah.
Little League football.
Oh, yay.
So yeah, come on down. There's something for everybody in the family. So if you want to ditch your husband or boyfriend at the car show and come to the Paracon, or vice versa, I mean, and there's going to be time you can come and go as you want for the events. We're hoping that some of these events choose to stay on that weekend, so we can just make a weekend of it every year. So
That would be
Yeah.
fun.
if you do come to those events, speak your mind and tell people that you'd like to do that too.
We've got, I know Jess mentioned it, but we've got tons and tons of door prizes and raffles and all kinds of really cool stuff. We've got UFO hunting kits, ghost hunting kits, cryptid hunting kits. We've got,
Yep.
what do we have?
We have a dowsing kit and a tarot kit and a seance kit. Learn how to do your own seances.
Road trip kit.
A road trip kit. We've got signed books and Bell Witch stuff from Pat Fitzhugh. We've got free readings and a gift basket from our medium, Christy Campbell. We've got free readings from our tarot reader, Lindsay Miles, and even more. In fact, I think Brian over the weekend said that he was going to scrounge up a couple of his Oklahoma cryptid hunting book 101 for us to give away. So, and there'll be even more than that. Our vendors and stuff and our speakers are very gracious and always love to hand us a couple of signed things to give away. So, because that's how we keep the con free. Everybody chips in a little bit and the rest of it kind of just comes out of our pockets and we throw together what we can, and it always seems to run good. So we're doing good so far.
Yeah.
It is definitely not a money-making opportunity.
No.
It is a money shoveling into a giant pit opportunity, but we love it because we love you guys.
It's worth it. It's worth it to us for sure to share the information. And, it started out as just a networking thing for the hunters in the area. We talk about it. It's all connected. That's our tagline. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to bring in the Bigfoot hunters and the UFO hunters and the ghost hunters, get everybody in one place so they could network and make those, relationships between them so we could share information. And this is our 7th year doing this, and it's just grown every year. And it's fun to watch. We've talked about this before. It's fun to watch people that have met at the Paracon get together and start sharing ideas and things. So that's one of the biggest things that we've really enjoyed is seeing everybody really
absolutely
make those friendships. So pretty cool. We're excited.
We've made lots of friends, and at least 3 or 4 podcasts have started because of it.
Yeah. That's where Muck came from.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, whoop whoop! Stop by and see us.
He's going to be watching. Maddie's going to be watching. Yay!
Yeah, and we get almost as many guests online as we do at the venue.
We do. Yeah, we do. And I know Maddie's in Canada. So
we run between 100 and 200 guests throughout the day, in and out, because it is a come and go thing. You don't have to be there all day. You don't have to get a hand stamp.
Yeah.
All you got to do is come in and enjoy yourself.
Yep.
So.
And if you see us, don't be shy. Tell us hi. We love you.
Yeah.
Now, we may be running around like chickens with our heads cut off, but we do want to hear you tell us
that's
hi.
Pretty much normal. They've watched the show or listened to the show. We're all over the place.
So true. So true.
Squirrel.
Pretty much.
All right, guys. Well, with that being said, I'd like to wish all of our viewers and listeners a good evening, and we will see you next time. It looks like we will be continuing with O-Parts and our speculation upon their providence.
And if you're around a week from Wednesday night, Border Town Strange, we're going to have part 2 of Weird Michigan. And Big Willie's going to be back with us. I think Enzo's going to be on. Mark, you're going to be there.
I am going to try. Last week, I am very sorry that I was not able to make it. But
we missed you, but yeah, Willie missed you too. He was sad that you weren't there, but you'll get to jump in this time, so it'll be a good time.
All right. Good deal. All right, guys. Well, that said, everybody have a good evening, and we will see you next time.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.